Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I am on Zoom right now with Vincent Salvano. Hey, Vincent.
Hey.
Okay, so Vincent and I just had I was just going to say, a great conversation. If you want to hear it, I always say conversation, not interview, but, I was kind of interviewing you. That is the episode before this one. Just listen to the podcast before this one, and you learn all about Vincent and growing up watching TV as an only child with his parents that led to NYU and this and that and films and the film Crosby that showed at Filmvasion in Los Angeles in 2018, and then working at Pixar and then coming down to LA and pursuing more stuff. And you know what? Great interview, great talk. Everyone should listen to that.
Thank you.
And this podcast ain't going to be about that at all. This podcast is a 4 questions episode, which means you're going to answer, or Vincent's going to answer, because I guess I'm talking to people now, not just you. The first question is, name 3 favorite films, just 3 films that you love. Doesn't have to be the best 3 of all time. I always stress that, as if it's not a pain in the ass to answer, no matter how I phrase it. And then name a film that's underrated, name a film that's overrated, and finally name a lesser-known film that people should seek out. And it's really just for shits and giggles. It's just a fun way to talk about films. I got a friend who's a professional drummer who starts fights all the time with these questions about drummers. He's just like, he just likes to go on Facebook and say, Neil Peart of Rush is the most overrated drummer who ever lived. Debate me.
Oh, no. Not
Are you a Rush guy?
Love me some Neil Peart, yes. It's okay. To each his own.
There's not many drummers who don't like Neil Peart. I'll get to that, but he just likes to stir shit up. But he's also a doorman and a bouncer. So stirring shit up is his thing. But anyway, so I stole from him the overrated, underrated thing, and then I added the other 2 questions, and here we go.
Well, so top 3.
Top 3. Or just 3 you love. It doesn't have to be top 3.
Well, I'll give you. I mean, I was so TV oriented as a kid, but I had to think about films. But I will say, the one that's always on my list is Groundhog Day. So that's number 1.
Nice.
Thank you. Yes, wholly original. Great character work. Really changes over the course of having to live this crazy day over and over again. It's funny. It's sweet. Yeah, it just appeals to all my sensibilities. It has the comedy. It has the sweetness. It has genuinely real characters, and you really feel like his change was authentic and believable. And it was great. I mean, and I grew up in like Philly area, so I always heard on the local news about that damn groundhog, Pennsylvania.
I have to chime in that I think Harold Ramis might be one of the most underrated writer-directors of all time. I think it will. Everyone goes on and on about a lot of other screenwriters, but he might be one of the best structure guys who ever lived. For as funny as all his films are, the structure of everything that he wrote is damn near perfect.
And there's depth too. There's comedy, and then he knows when to go deep and to dig into characters and to what choices they would really make in the world that he has created. And that's what's great. You're along for the ride the whole time. Nothing feels fake. So he's the best. Yeah.
Absolutely one of the best. All right.
My second one, I'm going to go with a recent one. It's not not an all time, but I was trying to think of something different. And you're in this world, so I'm curious to hear your take on it. But I'm going to go with PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson's last film, Licorice Pizza. I'm going to go with that one. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Mr. Sherman Oaks. But
first of all, I can tell you, I bought a lot of records at Licorice Pizza in the 70s.
Yeah, I went up
80s.
There recently. That story, that's really cool. Yeah.
They reopened one in Studio City. I grew up in Studio City, by the way. Like I spent my first 17 years in Studio City, but I rode my bike to Moby Disc, the used record store. Licorice Pizza, you had to pay for retail. But anyway, terrible confession. My wife. So I don't know how far into the story. She saw it without me. We actually have she saw it without me, and I haven't gotten to see it because sometimes when you're sometimes when you're coupled up and your partner sees something, you never the window never opens for you.
I just love because it's like I was growing up worlds away from it, but there's still aspects of it in New Jersey and down at the Jersey Shore that the captured the innocence of youth that some aspects of it I had, some aspects I didn't, but it just painted the valley as a place where like anything could happen, and it captures that spirit of being young and having dreams, and it was cozy. It was just it painted that time in the '70s so well and accurately. It just made me jealous. I didn't grow up during that time and in that part of LA, and it was just a joy. It's a really great ad in the coming of age genre, and with actors that weren't necessarily super well known at that time. I mean, obviously Alana Haim is in Haim, and Cooper Hoffman is Phil Seymour Hoffman's son, but that none of that came through. It was all just you just felt like the characters were genuine, and that's PTA for you. He leans sometimes more in emotion than in story, but I like that too. I like to lean in that too. If I'm making a movie or directing and there's a sequence in there with the right music and the right tone and the right color, I go for it and embrace it, because that's really what you walk away from when you watch a movie. It's just the feeling you had when you watched a certain scene. So that was it for me. There was plenty of them in Licorice Pizza for sure.
I gotta say this is eating away. I have to correct this. I am a big PTA fan. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you that when I saw Phantom Thread
Yeah. Same
with a
thing.
group of friends, I freaking debated the shit out of them if they didn't like it. Like I thought, I like everything PTA does. Honestly, how have I not? How have I let this slip?
I don't know. You gotta stop right. You stop this podcast right now.
I gotta be like,
Please check it out.
I gotta be like, next time she goes shopping, I'm watching. I'm just rushing. I'll find out. I got to go to that justwatch.com. Yeah, I got to see Licorice Pizza.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I'm going to try to go against my comedy instincts, and I'm going to go with Zodiac for my third. A little bit of a shift, but I love Fincher. I mean, I just love the suspense genre. I mean, I try, again, it's every time I watch one of his movies, or you talked about Fight Club with Crosby, but I think no one besides PTA creates like a time and place more authentically than him. What it felt like to like live and work in locations and in time periods, in the ones that he's portraying, and it's just endlessly suspenseful, free of cliches within that genre, and it's just like a thrill ride, from beginning to end. I love Fincher. Even some of his stuff that was early on, like Panic Room or Course 7. He's a great film. He's just great. He's the top of his craft and his genre. So I love Fincher.
Absolutely. No, there's
I'll
no.
I'll throw a bonus TV show in because I'm a TV guy, but I love Freaks and Geeks. That was a huge show for me growing up, and I didn't mention it when we were in our podcast, but it's good to mention because it encapsulates that feeling of growing up in a time period in 1980, and as an old soul and someone who grew up on classic rock and some of those old shows that my parents loved, and it was like, I just felt like that show was for me, and it was great character work and not stuff that you would see on TV at the time. So great character work that felt like a one long movie in whatever that was, 18 episodes or something like that. It was great.
Yeah, no, and I mean, just sucks that show didn't click.
It is at the time, yeah. It's just,
but now it's beloved, and needless to say, talk about the show that launched 1,000 careers.
1,000 careers, yeah. Great.
All right. Well, the question number 2 is a film, and you could do a film and a TV series. There's no hard and fast rules, but something that you consider underrated.
I don't know how underrated this is, but and I kind of discovered him in college. It was the director Hal Ashby who directed, Harold and Maude and many others. But I love the movie Being There with Peter Sellers. Yes. I am a huge fan. It seems like a movie that I watched it again maybe last year, and it's like always relevant. Like it's that character, the idea of like, it's about this guy, people who don't know, it's about this guy and he's a gardener and he lives in, I think it's in DC, and he through just his personality and like he has a lot of just generalizations about life and about gardening, and through the most minimalist kind of expression possible, he ends up befriending people at every level and rises to he ends up in the highest of ranks, eventually getting into like the president's ear, just because of the kind of person he is and the way that he presents himself as kind of this like upper class guy who doesn't lean into too many other things. He just sort of like, he just has these sort of generalizations about life, and people appeal to it. And man, oh man, like you could say, I mean, he's just, you could say that that applies to so many ways that we as a society run, for better and for worse, for sure, and it's wild. It's like wildly, wildly relevant and timeless, like a lot of Hal Ashby's movies. So, and also subversive for the time that they were made. So, and I think that's why they continue to grow and evolve and people find depth in them. But yeah, I mean, great performance, obviously, by Sellers and everyone involved with that. But yeah, it's a great, great film if anyone hasn't seen it.
Amazing film. And my understanding is I actually was assigned, I had to read that book in college. The book it's based on.
Yes.
And the book is equally fantastic, but the film is amazing. And my understanding is Peter Sellers loved the book, and he's the reason it got made.
That's fantastic. I'm glad he did it.
He pushed the thing the whole way, and
it's funny, emotional. It just all over. I mean, it just covers the gamut. And,
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And it's such a gift to the world that we got to see Peter Sellers do that before we lost him too. Like.
Absolutely.
I think he passed not long after that film.
Probably, yeah. So yeah, not sure how underrated it is at this point, but I think,
Well, it's probably, I don't know how many people.
Yeah, I don't know how people seek it. I mean, it's not, he's not a filmmaker that is always on the top of people's radars, maybe who are more in film, but like, it's just great for anyone to watch.
Yeah. But as you said, I would bet that a lot of more people have seen Harold and Maude in your generation than Being There. Because Harold Maude is kind of sort of a touchstone that everyone visits at some point. It's almost like a Godfather kind of movie that everyone like, you got to see it at some point. And but Being There should be.
Yeah, I remember like Roger Ebert, like he wrote about it, like it almost like Peter Sellers' character is kind of like an AI generator, like at the time of like generating these types of comments, and I'm like, wow, that is still relevant today.
It's just. I love that moment at the end where the person figures it out and he's like, chance. and he's like, he just realizes, wow, this guy is
you're just waiting
simple.
For it. Yeah, he said, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. You make me want to. Oh man, I got to watch that again sometime. I haven't seen it for so long. All right. Well, question number 3 is a film you consider overrated.
So I watched this for the first time last year, I think. The Usual Suspects. I don't know if you know that. I don't want to get hate, but no, it was always referenced, like in film school and even in some writers' rooms that I've been in. So I finally relented and watched it, just because I hadn't gotten around to it. But I know, and I appreciate the twist ending, but I don't know. For me, it just kind of felt off tonally, and it kind of meandered, and wasn't really digging the performances too much. And I don't know, maybe just I don't really remember too much about it, to be honest. It really was not memorable to me. But people always reference it, and maybe it's just for the twist ending or not. I'm not quite sure. But I wasn't feeling the ride, so yeah. But I'm gonna go with that one.
It's an interesting. My expression was, I think it's about 30 years ago that film came out.
Yeah, 90s. Yeah.
Mid 90s film, and I honestly haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Nice. Okay.
And I did love it back then.
All right.
But revisiting something 20, 30 years later, it often some things are of their time and then they don't hold up. So my expression was, wow, that might not hold up, because maybe it was style over substance, right? It was
maybe I should watch it in 30 years. I'll see how I feel. It might change. It might swing back around. Who the
I
hell
mean,
knows?
it was Bryan Singer, right?
Yeah, I think
The
so. Yeah.
director, yeah. But it was when he was interesting. Interesting. I
Right.
mean, let me put it this way. If I was to try to talk the kid into watching a film with me this coming weekend, I wouldn't pick that one.
No, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was hard. That was a hard one for me to choose, but I went with that one. So yeah, but yeah, hey, I'll watch it again sometime and
Fair enough.
see.
I don't know. It's a new world. This world we're in. It's harder to revisit stuff because there's
Yeah,
so much to absorb.
true.
All right. Well, we're down to the last question, which is a lesser known film that people should seek out.
All right. So I another filmmaker I did not mention in our podcast is Albert Brooks, who I absolutely love, and it's very similar to some of these other directors we're talking about, but. I watched a documentary about him a couple of years ago, which hopefully more people have seen and have got an understanding to his career. And again, he throttles directing, stand up. He's an inspiration to me for sure. I'm going to go with Defending Your Life. Watched that recently again. And a lot of his filmography is just not on streaming. You can buy it, but it's not really streaming anywhere. So he's harder. He's a harder filmmaker to find, but I just recommend people watch his films and Defending Your Life. This guy dies and he goes into this world that's not quite the afterlife. It's sort of this in between place. And he's sort of put on, like a typical court trial of whether he should move on to heaven or whatever, the great beyond, or get sent back down to earth. Based on the types of choices that he's made in his life. If they were based on, like fear, for instance, they would want him to go back down to earth so that he can make different choices and eventually earn his way up to whatever that is, whatever they call the the great beyond or with the higher place or whatever. It's hilarious. The world building is hilarious. The in between place is almost like a 1980s. Sarasota, Florida, or something like a retirement community. It's hilariously portrayed. And people stay at different hotels. One's nicer and one's not based on like the chances of them going into, the great beyond or back to earth. And it's classic Albert Brooks, comedy, romance, emotion. And it's like a guy, and the guy gets to watch almost like a highlight reel of his life and the different choices that he's made. And, I'm always someone who likes that kind of having that omniscient view of like, that breaking that fourth wall. And it's always my instinct as a filmmaker. I love doing that. He does it the best. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's the best. It's hilarious. I love it.
It's a great movie. And it's one of my, talk about a subgenre.
Yes, for sure.
But like one of my favorite things as a festival runner is when someone presents a concept of life after death or the afterlife.
It's hard.
You've never seen before.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa, that's completely original. Like no one's ever said, hey, when you die, this might happen.
Yeah.
And like Defending Your Life, not to mention what Meryl Streep and Rip Torn are in that sucker. Isn't Rip Torn his lawyer in the Purgatory?
He's his lawyer, yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh my God, one of the funniest human beings we ever had, right? But
great movie. But watch more Albert Brooks movies to anyone listening. He's got a great Life in America is another great one. He's got great filmography.
Yeah.
He's an inspiration for sure.
Yeah, excellent for sure. And I'm just going to throw in dumb trivia because when you're old, you throw in dumb trivia, which is the original SNL way back when the Chevy Chase, Bill Murray era of SNL. Yeah. Albert Brooks was making short films for SNL back then. That's
right. He was. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. They're great. Yeah, I need to dig back. They're hard to find now, but it's cool.
Yeah.
That was a great time
he was funny as hell. Albert Einstein. Go figure. All right.
Albert Einstein.
All right. I will wrap us up then. So, Vincent, thank you so much. Excellent list. Although, now I got to watch Licorice Pizza, and I probably...
Yeah, you got a to-do list now, man.
I got a to-do list. I'm even curious. I really want to see Being There again. God, I need to develop some kind of speed habit where I don't sleep anymore. Because I need more hours in the day.
Absolutely.
And I think drugs are the answer to all of life's problems. So
100%. Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully no one takes that seriously. So anyway, so people, go to the show notes of this podcast wherever, however you are listening to it, and there will be links to Vincent's work because you should check it out. And then there will also be links to this stuff I'm about to rattle off, which is, thank you for listening to the Discover Indie Film Podcast. Hey, I think I forgot to say this last time. Like and subscribe. Be a nice person. Maybe even write a review. Sometimes I throw this joke in. You might appreciate this, Vincent. I think you're like guest number 280, right? Because everyone does too. And I'm pretty sure I don't have 280 reviews. That's funny. So,
oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of reviews. But anyhow.
Try to catch you up.
Yeah, so anyway, people, be kind. That's discoverindiefilm.com is the website. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. I think I mentioned in the introduction that your film, Crosby, was at Film Invasion Los Angeles. We hold that festival every June. If people want to learn more, it's filminvasionla.com, and it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. We just held the 10th anniversary edition of that. This December, we'll have the 10th anniversary of the Sherman Oaks Film Festival. That one is ShermanOaksFF.com or at ShermanOaksFF on social media. And I always refer to those two as sister festivals. And next year they get a cousin. Their cousin, Film Invasion Lima, Peru. Film Invasion Lima will be happening in January 2026. When it's winter here, it's summer there, south of the equator. So you can find me there. I believe it's, January 16th and 17th or something like that. So, yeah, that'll be great. All right, Vincent, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Appreciate it.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.